Hi, folks. Stephen here. Sorry for kind of a late start, but this is going to be a kind of a combined presentation. We're going to talk about two things here. We're going to talk about the a little bit of an update on. You may remember at the start of the last weekend's Pokemon Stadium music discussion with Ann, we did about a 15, 16, 17-minute segment where we talked about some news that had developed as a result of. One second here. As a result of the some changes that had gone through announcement that had been posted on a Dutch, I think it's Dutch, Netherlands um, content rating website. And we're going to do a little bit of an update to that right about now. We're also going to talk primarily about this weekend's Pokemon Go Community Day. Obviously, it went both Saturday and Sunday. And in fact, if you're in North America at least, and maybe some parts of South America too, it's still going on until 9 p.m. local time, your place. So, like, if you're on the West Coast or Hawaii, you still have some time to get out there. But I purposely did most of my stuff during daylight hours here in the Northern Hemisphere, especially up in the Northern United States. There's not a ton of daylight this time of year. We're hitting near the solstice. So I wanted to make sure I did my stuff today. I did stuff yesterday and today, and have things to say about both of those. So, without further ado, as you may have expected at this point, um, let's see. We're going to. By the way, let me know how oh, let's see. Oh, interesting. So I just got a comment I want to put in about Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. Kevin Cutliff. Let's see. Apparently, the ending for movie 22 is an original new song, so it's not going to be We're a Miracle, I guess. I sure hope. It's going to be a hard act to follow there. I just see that from Kevin is saying there. And by the way, how's my volume? I just want to check on that. But anyway, sounds like it's going to be an original new song, which I think is kind of a. To be honest, I would have preferred to have uh, Kevin. I hope he's just editing his message and said something there. Let's see. Well, that's interesting. Didn't know that could actually happen in there. Sorry about that. I hope I wasn't being. I'm not. I don't think I'm being put on or anything like that. Um, so can't keep it. Okay. Um, so apparently, it looks like there's going to be a new song there. Maybe that's something I wasn't supposed to know. I sure hope not. um, okay. Well, now that I've said that, maybe I'll edit that out. I don't know. Any case, apparently that is some interesting information there. But I guess we can leave that as unconfirmed at the moment, is I guess the best way we can put it. But speaking of unconfirmed, I was about to boot up the PowerPoint here. Let's see, let's go ahead and toss in an application. Oh, wait, I need to actually start the presentation here. Okay, slideshow. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, since I did the. Okay, so you should be seeing actually a relatively blank screen at the moment. Sorry about all that. Apparently, there was some information being divulged there. So neither confirm or deny that, I suppose. I'll disavow hearing it. I don't know. Anywho, so what happened here? First, we're going to go into what happened with the listing on that Netherlands website. So yeah, let's go to NL Scavenger. The Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution listing on, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, has been changed to Ashita Mo Kumori, which I've learned a little. I know that first part. Ashita, by the way, is Japanese word for tomorrow, um, as in like surely tomorrow, one of the ending themes of the fourth generation. Um, let's see. Um, let's see what else we got there. And then Kumori just means kind of cloudy or clouds or of that nature. Mo is a particle. This is my limited Japanese knowledge coming through for me. But this guy did a search for it and said, well, gee, I can't really think of anything. That's, okay. World of Kevin C. Okay, I guess I should have guessed that. But anyway, Looked for that on Google, didn't really seem to bring up anything relevant. So apparently he's got a friend, John Paul or Mendizno, and this is just a theory on his part, but I think it's a pretty good guess at this point as to what's happening. So you can see here that he has some ideas here, and if we take a look there, all right, like I said, should all be treated as rumor and conjecture, but he looked for the name of the director there, didn't really find anything. And after more thought, his opinion, and like I said, conjecture on his part, I always want to be careful about that. It looks like that this may have just been changed to obfuscate it. In other words, just to hide the fact that it is what it is. I mean, it's already kind of been reported, so it's maybe a little late, kind of like that thing there. Let's see. But it says gloomy or cloudy is sort of what that other word mean along with tomorrow. So let's see what we got here. In any case, I came up with, trying to lighten the mood here, a little bit of a thing there on Twitter. I had mentioned last week that they might mention something with the Game Awards. As far as I can tell, they didn't. But I did note that cloudy is both good if this is an obfuscation, which it sounds like it might be, or it might be the, oh gosh, what am I looking for here? Oh, it might be it's also appropriate to one of the things in the movie. So that and some information I guess we just got kind of unofficially on the ending theme, which we'll see what happens with that. All right, so let's get into. We'll probably talk a little bit, maybe more about that stuff at the end. But let's go into Community Day. So this was kind of a unusual one. At the end of the year, they did a special little one that is like a combination of the other 11 for the day. Not all of those I got into, but this one I definitely did. So first off, let's talk about the weather. So this was a 2-day event, but I did pick in since the numbers for yesterday are semi-finalized from the National Weather Service. I did bring those in. You may remember last month in November had a high of 39 compared to the average of 44. Had a low of 21, and normal is 28 here in Madison. 6.7 is the average wind speed. So compare that to yesterday's weather. Today's was kind of similar, to be honest, so not too much of a difference. High was 23, so considerably colder. Normal temperature is 30 for a high. Low was 8. Normal was 16. Average wind speed yesterday, 4.9. So the wind is dying down, I guess. But definitely getting colder. We're getting into that time of the year. It's going to be a little bit of a judgment call whether I do these for January and February, depending on what I'm doing that weekend and stuff like that. But as you can see, we're definitely getting into the colder part of the season here in the Northern Hemisphere, especially here in the upper Midwest. So that gives you a rough idea of what I had to deal with. Now, Saturday, let me show you a few pictures from there. Boy, this place on the left that you're seeing here might look a little familiar now, doesn't it? What's actually happening here, first of all, you can see, obviously, I was trying to catch both a Torchic, which they had a bunch of the not the Kanto Stars. Well, they did have the Kanto Stars and some of like the raids and stuff. They had I think they had both the Johto and the Hoenn starters populated in there. They also had Eevee, as you can see on the right. There was plenty of Eevees running around, as well as the other Pokemon from the other community days. But gee, that setting there, if you've seen some of my other videos, you might recognize some of that. So you may remember that last month or so or whatever ago, I think I made the announcement in October, the store where I run my Pokemon League here on the west side of Madison is, the league technically belongs to the store, just to be clear about that, was shutting down. And indeed, it did have a closing party last month. But right before then, some other folks who were at least somewhat familiar with the store decided to make an offer, and they're sort of working their way through. And the store is actually, Pegasus Games is open on the west side. And actually, I was able to move my league time. There's another league in Madison on the east side that's on the same day as us, so that was really not optimal. So I got to move it to Saturdays, and now we're running league at Pegasus Games on first, second, and third Saturdays of the month from 1 to 4. On the rare case where there's a fifth one, there wasn't this month. I'm guessing we get that too, maybe, but I haven't confirmed that one. I'm not sure what we're doing about the fourth weekend. Still working on that. We did have a league session yesterday, and actually, counting myself, there were 4 people there, and I look forward to more in the future. So I guess that's a little plug there. But as you can kind of guess, since I was running the league, and we did thankfully get a number of people show up despite the time change and the gap of 3 or 4 weeks between that and our last league session back in November. I did spend some time doing some Pokemon Go while I was there. The Pegasus Games is, by the way, actually a Pokemon gym over in this area. So, so that actually gets is nice there. Caught a fair number of stuff there. Obviously, not being able to move around too much, and working on some other things in between games and stuff like that. I did finally get my choke evolved into a Machamp's Shield. Finally got that, since that's a trade evolution you need that stuff for. And then let's see, and the Eevee I think I forgot exactly how that was. If that was something that spawned or something like that, but completed some research stuff, and I got a bonus. You sometimes get bonus spawns for that, and I got my first Relicanth. One of the, I don't remember. Excuse me, if it's actually a fossil you revive it from normally or what. But it is a rock water Pokemon from, I believe, the 3rd generation. I'm fairly certain about that. Well, it comes right before Love Disc in the Pokedex, so that must be it. And you notice you can see a little bit of an accomplishment in that first picture on the left, where I've got the let's see, what do we got here? But you notice they had added a bunch of like accomplishments. You had to catch 19 Pokemon for 2019 in the thing there. So now if you look in the right-hand picture, you can see I really lucked out with this one, because this Relicanth it looks like perfect stats. It's got 3 stars on there and all the things. And so you get a little bit different than the regular 3-star thing you get on there. So that's pretty good. It's gonna be hard to train that up, because Relicanth candy, I mean, I guess I just have to walk with it or use rare candy for that. But that's pretty good. Okay, I think that's all I have from Saturday. It wasn't as exciting as I would like, just in part because I was kind of confined to a small space there. But you may remember, although the event goes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. local time at each of these, let's see here. What we got is, let's see. These are the eggs I had. I realized earlier today when I was about to go out that I was not incubating anything, and I realized that I get half or double speed on each of these. I incubate them between the 11 o'clock and 2 hour, which is sort of the core time for this, where there's the extra stardust and stuff like that, right around lunchtime. So I did take care of that and did hatch a bunch of eggs this time around. All right, so let's see. So Team Rocket stuff still going on. I'm not sure exactly what the message. It's supposed to be something ghostly, because this was a ghost type Team Rocket trainer that I encountered fairly early on there. Did pretty well against this one. Managed to take it out with just 1 Pokemon. At first, I was really kind of a little bit off-put, because it picked my slacking as first, and against a ghost Pokemon it does nothing, but also Ghost does very little against it, and I managed to actually beat it with just 1 Pokemon. And as a result, let's see, sorry about the bottom there, you can see a little bit of my coat, and you'll notice that despite the fact that it is quite cold and it's December here in Wisconsin, there is no snow on the ground. I think there might be a few piles in parking lots somewhere, but we actually have gotten, despite the fact it's been below freezing for a lot of the last couple of weeks, we've gotten very little precipitation this month. So yes, this is Wisconsin. Yes, it is December. There's just not really any snow on the ground. But anyway, I've managed to catch this Duskull, the shadow one. I kind of like the shadow effect goes well with that particular Pokemon. Twilight Wings for the Pokemon Enemy. Yeah, I got a press release about that not too long ago. I think that one is actually that's a YouTube miniseries. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of like going to be like, I guess, Pokemon Generations and stuff like that. Let's see, what do we got here? But I like the way the little cloud behind it fits there. I did have a fair number of Duskull, so not such a big deal there, but I need to do more purification here. Now, I did run into a couple more Team Rocket trainers. there were these two, which I ran into here on the west side of Madison. Did not have very good luck against those at all. I actually got pretty much wiped out by their first Pokemon both times. I think I just didn't have, for the left one, that was a flying type trainer. And I have a lot of Pokemon that are knocked out still from last month's Pokemon Go Community Day, where we tried to get Cabal in, and I just ran through a ton of Pokemon, and I haven't gotten enough revives, and don't have stuff like my Jolteon and stuff like that. That would be good there. I need to power up those Pokemon more, so that's kind of a weak spot for me. One of the types I'm not so great against. And then the right side said, winning is for winners. This was a weird one because I think I got through its, actually, I did get through its second Pokemon in that set there. First one was, let's see, what do we got? First one was, let's see, was a Charmander. Second one was an Ivysaur. Third one, I'm guessing, was a Blastoise, which is really weird because then at the end it says, well, let's see, for fighting Pokemon, you should have these types. And it's like, that's not what I fought. So that was kind of weird. I didn't do so well against either of those, and consequently kind of further in the hole there. I have a lot of in-game currency I could spend on max revives, but I just kind of like not to do that. I did spend some in-game currency on the what is it? Oh, it's the on the Community Day box to get a bunch of extra like Ultra Balls and stuff like that. All right, I guess this is the shiny report portion of it. So here are two shiny Pokemon. I think these are the only two I came across in the course of the game, or course of this weekend. So the left there is a Mudkip. You can see it has the pinkish purple hue rather than the usual blue. And then the right-hand side, you have the, what is it? Oh, it's the Trapinch. That's the one. And it's green, so it's more like an unripe pumpkin, kind of a greenish, fair bit of blue in there, which I'm sure is one reason they picked that for October. Like I said, I do wonder next fall for October, the X and Y Pokemon should be in there, which means we'll have access to Pumpkaboo and Gourgeist. So I'm guessing they may leverage those instead, but we'll see what happens. That's not a 3-stage evolution line, but it'll be interesting to see how those are implemented in the game, because those were kind of a little bit different there. All right, what else we got here? All right, so because of the somewhat spread out nature of this one, what I ended up doing is I ended up, basically evolving a bunch of the Pokemon I have with the candy I acquired. There's actually a fair number of Pokemon that I could evolve that I hadn't done just yet. All right, so first off, we've got, I have a Torchic here. Thanks to the new appraisal feature, I found one of my better ones and evolved that into a Combuskin. Don't have nearly enough, though, to evolve it into a Blaziken just yet. Hoping to do that sometime in the future, of course. So that was kind of fun. Let's see, Totodile into Croconaw, very similar there. Again, one I don't have a ton of spare candy on, so I can't get to Feraligatr just yet, which is kind of a shame. Let's see, and then, Snover into Abomasnow. Yeah, so that's a kind of a fun one here. Not really related at all, but I just realized, I have enough candy to do that, so found one of my better Snover and evolved that. I think the evolved form knows Blizzard, and I got a little ways I can power it up still. Still got a fair amount of Snover candy as well, so that'll be useful in certain places at least. And then, so I think, I'm not 100% sure, but if you evolve during the time frame, you still get the special move there. At least it seems like it. I forget what the special move for Dragonite was supposed to be. So I had some Dragonairs left over, or actually, plural of a Pokemon is still the same thing. Some Dragonair left over. They're irregular plurals. And I actually had a lot of good Dragonair, a couple good Dragonair, and a couple good Dratini as well. To sort of conserve stuff, I spent the 100 Dratini candy to evolve into a Dragonite, and it knows Draco Meteor, which is a pretty cool move, and I'll be looking forward to using that. Also have some very high CP total on that, and have some room still to power it up by at least a couple hundred, it looks like, on there. So a lot of evolution. I also have a number of spare candy that I'll be using, most likely to power up some of my other Pokemon. because based on my experience with the Team Rocket and some of the raids and whatnot, I can definitely do better there. So yeah, I think that is the last slide. It is indeed. So, all right, you should be seeing me full frame now. Let me get the browser window back there. So yeah, just to go over some of the comments in there. Yep, do follow these on Twitter. I will try and remind folks ahead of time when these go up, just to get a few. Let's see. Things there. It is interesting that apparently Movie 22 is going to have the Mewtwo Strikes Back remake is going to have a new ending song. Is sort of the information there, but we'll see. I'll treat that as unconfirmed for the time being. If that is the case, I do hope it is not like going in a different direction than the Ash Pikachu direction, and instead is going towards the like the Mew and Mewtwo dynamic or something like that. Because you're not going to. I have a feeling you're not going to be able to match We're a Miracle if you're going for the same through line there of the Ash Pikachu relationship. I mean, technically speaking, I Choose You is kind of in the same vein there. It's just applied to a different movie. So we'll see how that one works out. I am definitely curious, and I did consider this a possibility. Although to be honest, like I said, there's still a lot we don't know. It's a little hard to confirm if Netflix is still really doing this, or if they're just doing it in the Netherlands, or how that's going to work. And things of that nature. And then I do kind of hope they're still keeping in Brother My Brother or something like that. I have to assume they're still going to keep some version of the Pokemon theme in there. I don't know how I feel, or if there's going to be, there might be an entirely new score, or they might keep something close to the Japanese one. That's going to be kind of all pretty interesting there, since if the end theme is being changed, it leads me to believe that more of the other stuff will be different than the original thing. And it's not, if I had an unlimited supply of money and made all the decisions myself, might not be the direction I would go, but I'll still keep an open mind towards it, and I encourage you to do the same. But just to update on a few more things while we're here, if you have any thoughts on any of that, either the Pokemon Go Community Day or the little bit of information about both the obfuscation on that one site of the apparent name change to hide what it is on the Netherlands site there, and then the possibility of having a new ending theme for the Mewtwo Strikes Back remake. We'll see how all that fits together. But if you have any comments on any of that. Kevin suggests it could be called Evolution, which I think that would be kind of that's certainly a cool name. We'll see how it's executed. I don't really dislike any of Ed Goldfarb's ending software in the movies. The one I would truly consider great, though, is I Choose You, is definitely at or near that top tier of all-time greats, even if it does seem like it is a little bit similar to We're a Miracle. We'll see how that one goes together. I guess if they are using the other loser in this situation is Christina Aguilera, but like I said, I'm going to treat that as unconfirmed for now. But we'll probably find out more in the next few months. We may not hear anything until like February or something like that, because it'll be interesting to see what goes on. But as far as stuff coming up, if you haven't already, take a listen to last weekend's Pokemon Stadium Muse discussion I did with Anne from PQB Podcast. Let's see. And the week before that, of course, we did a Pokemon Stadium live stream. Don't forget that sometime next month, I'm still cleaning up the audio from our previous discussion. Will be our discussion of, what is it? Let's see. Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy. I know there are some folks. Okay. Let's see. All right. And what else we got going here? And then, so next up, I think I'm going to do another Why It Worked. I think I keep putting off the Power of One reverse episode of that, where I unfortunately have to bring up politics a little bit. Maybe one reason. But I think the next one I'm actually going to do, unfortunately, I don't know a ton about the production, but I think I know enough that I can say why it works. Um, let's see, is Lullaby the Manda song from Pokemon, the first movie on the soundtrack. This is the one that, of course, starts and ends with the Jigglypuff sample, and I think that's going to be the next one I do. Some of it's going to depend on how much I get done, when I get done, I should say, on the cleaning up my side of the audio from the stadium discussion. But other than that, I don't have a ton of information. And by the way, if you need to send me information on stuff, you can always email it to me, pokepress@gmail.com. I guess I could have used the new ticker feature to put that in there on this, but that's about what I've got for this time. All right, folks, thanks.